Thank you to the EveryLife Foundation for giving me the distinct honor of moderating today's Congressional Rare Disease Caucus briefing. I will do my best to amplify the voices of patients suffering from the invisible plague of 10,000 plus rare diseases that has shrouded not only the lives of over 30 million Americans, but also their families and local communities. 99% of all rare diseases are what can be considered ultra rare or small rare disease populations. Next, I would like to thank the members of the Congressional Rare Disease Caucus and their staffs for support, dedication, and camaraderie in this righteous battle against rare diseases. Senator Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, Senator Roger Wicker from Mississippi, from my home state of California, Representative Doris Matsui, and from my birth state of Florida, Representative Gus Bilirakis. Finally, on behalf of everyone today, I would like to thank the following rare disease community sponsors. Let's see. Sorry, these are the Rare Disease Caucus members. And then I would like to briefly thank Alexion, Amgen, Biogen, CS Behring, Genentech, and Sanofi. Okay. My name is Ethan Perlstein. I reside in Oakland, California. I'm a scientist, biotech entrepreneur, and investor. I'm also the father of two beautiful boys, Kai, 9, and Luca, 4. My younger son, Luca, has an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. I discovered my life's purpose a decade ago in 2014 when I became founder and CEO of Perlara PBC, the world's first biotech public benefit corporation created to partner with rare disease families in search of treatments and cures. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of Maggie's Pearl, a joint venture between a rare disease family from Sturgis, Michigan, the district of former U.S. Representative Fred Upton, I should add, joint venture between that family, Perlara, and the Mayo Clinic. I will return to Maggie's Pearl at the end of my remarks after I frame up the topic of today's briefing, which is novel approaches to drug development for small rare disease populations and the policies that can drive them. I've spent the last decade toiling in the trenches with truly remarkable and unstoppable families whose children were struck by genetic lightning. Oops. Based on those indelible experiences, I believe the future of ultra-rare drug development will be family-driven because no one else cares more about this problem than those who are personally ravaged by it. But families won't be able to go it alone. The august panel of experts convened for today's briefing represents the major stakeholders in ultra-rare drug development. Families and patient communities, of course, and both government and industry partners. In a few moments, they will share each of their experiences and proffer policy perspectives and constructive solutions. 40 years ago, the Orphan Drug Act codified that a rare/orphan disease affects fewer than 200,000 people. It created a patch quilt of incentives for medicine makers to meet the treatment needs of these smaller communities through tax credits, fee waivers, and a potential 7 years of market exclusivity after approval. Unfortunately, these policies are not enough for the long tail of diseases, which affect many fewer than 200,000 Americans. In reality, it's as small as tens, up to hundreds, but no more than a few thousand total patients affected in the US by the average ultra-rare disease. Everyone's definition varies, but there are many shared challenges regardless of the exact numerical threshold used to define an ultra-disease population. Take, for example, 2,000 patients in the US, a reasonable cutoff suggested by ultra-rare drug developer extraordinaire Dr. Emil Kakkis of Ultragenics in a proposal he dubs the Ultra-Orphan Drug Act. There are successes too. Treatments for tiny populations have made it across the finish line, but it has taken Herculean efforts from the patient and families affected and the right formula of federal investments in basic and translational science, innovation in how we execute clinical development, and successful application of regulatory flexibility, among other factors. Now, meet Maggie, a medical pioneer. Maggie is from Michigan and has PMM2-CDG, the most common congenital disorder of glycosylation, an inherited metabolic disease that affects over 1,000 patients globally, most of them kids like her. 4.5 years ago, Maggie started taking a repurposed drug called Perlstein. A pivotal phase 3 trial is now fully enrolled and expecting readouts later this year. Here's a montage of Maggie's historic N of 1 study. I think the video speaks for itself. Sorry for the cheesy background music. But this is Maggie's baseline about 7 months before she started taking this medicine. So this is what walking was like for her. This is at the hotel. Anyone ever been to the Mayo Clinic? This is the Grand Collar Hotel. This is the hallway. Maybe you recognize the carpeting. But this is Maggie's sort of baseline. You can see she really can't hold a straight line. And we'll just give you a sense to acclimate here. You know what? This music's a little cheesy. I'm gonna get rid of it. So, I'm not sure who's a doctor here, who has a family member with a rare disease, but maybe this is a typical picture. So she's kind of struggling here, but she is extremely, extremely persistent. I'll just give you a sense to really acclimate to her baseline. And in the next sequence, you'll see 3 months on the drug. Anyone notice a difference? Raise your hand. All right. So this is a couple months on the drug. This is back at our Mayo Clinic visit. And then this will give you another sense here. Here's a straightaway. This is a floor here where she could really start cruising. This is 6 months on the drug. And then we'll just kind of cut to bottom here, which is, oops. Can I not advance this? Apologies here. Sorry, I don't want to make you watch that all over again, but is there any way to fast forward this? Maybe I can. Yeah, it's not letting me advance. I have to, I want to get you to the good part at the end where she's standing and walking. You know what, let me show you actually a second patient. So since one good turn deserves another, a second family caught wind of Maggie's progress because her mom, Holly, was blogging about it in real time. Word spreads surprisingly fast in rare disease communities. That led to a second N of 1 study with a little boy named Ethan. This one will hopefully work out a little bit better. So here's 3 months on the drug. These are his first independent steps. Here's 4 months on the drug. And here we go, 2 years on a power stat. You notice he's obviously grown a lot and still able to maintain his balance in his new body. Okay, sorry I couldn't show you Maggie's, but she did something very similar. I can show you later. Okay, Maggie's pill is not yet across the finish line, but our pivotal phase 3 is hurtling down the track as fast and safely as possible. The goal of Maggie's Pearl is to prove that a bottom-up, ultra-lean, ultra-fast, and ultra-persistent family-driven model to drug development is poised to scale. It's a fully remote, family-owned clinical-stage biotech company. By families, for families. Imagine a balanced biopharma ecosystem teeming with profitable minnows and not dominated by a few lumbering whales, all chasing the largest market.